Good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. What happened to my hair? Good morning. Today is Wednesday, March 18th, 2026. This is our wraparound day. And so it's Wednesday, March 18th, 2026. This month is flying by. Wow. Wowzer, wowzer, wowzer. Well, so here we are, Department of Career Services, where our goal is to help our students and interested people on their journey through this life, where we have, and this is day 3 of week 4 of our neuroscience-oriented approach to success. Right you are. So, as always, we have a really big shoe for you today. The theme of the day is rejection of victimness. How do you reject being a victim? Rejection of victimness. Looking at my screens here. Yeah. Okay. We'll get into that. That is from a short video by Jordan Peterson. Very simple. It's a very simple attitude to have. Let's see. Okay, well, I can't add it in, but it's on our worksheet down below. Rejection of victimness. That's the advice from an 80-year-old. Be romantic. Right. What does that mean? What does that mean to be romantic? Should we look it up? Be romantic. Is that like being a person from Rome? Wow. Be romantic, a romantic person, especially of or relating to resembling a romance, imagery, practical. Romantic is a noun. Well, I guess we don't really have time to dig down into that. So we will move on. Be romantic. We all know what that means. It's hard to define, but we know it when we see it, right? Doing the little things of the heart. Just the little things of the heart. Not expecting anything in return. So that's not romantic if you're doing A because you want B. That might be acting romantic, but that's not really being romantic. There's an ulterior motive. I think it could be to express your feelings of tenderness and love. All righty then. So it's hard to do a thing if you don't know what it is. Oops. Next, Seth Godin. The hollow orange. Note on the word orange. Most people say there is no word that rhymes with orange. And Eminem, the rapper Eminem, said that's just not true. It's how you emphasize the sounds. You can say orange, porridge, storage. It's not orange, porrange, storange. So you slow it down, you break it apart, you put the stress on certain parts of the word, and that you can get words to rhyme with it. Okay, but this is about the hollow orange in storage. It's tempting but useless. The skin is unblemished in perfect color. It's well displayed, promoted widely, and on sale. But there's nothing inside. It's not worth eating and certainly not worth sharing. This is the streaming series with great lighting and talented actors based on a beloved novel, but it's empty and we fade after one or two episodes. This is the book with a polished author photo, pre-written blurbs, and plenty of footnotes, created by a ghostwriter and edited by committee. And it's almost any content created by AI without care or oversight. The solution to hollow oranges isn't more of them. Okay, so the hollow orange, that's a term, meaning it's tempting but useless. It's a hollow orange. Maybe we'll change the theme of today to hollow orange. The hollow orange. How about that? We'll still talk about rejection of victimness, but there we go. Handled. Done. The hollow orange. It's tempting but useless. Skin is unblemished in the perfect color, and it's well displayed, promoted widely, and on sale, but there's nothing inside. It's not worth eating and certainly not worth sharing. This is the streaming series with great lighting and talented actors based on beloved novel, but it's empty and we fade after one or two episodes. Book with a polished author photo, pre-written blurbs, and plenty of footnotes, created by a ghostwriter and edited by committee. And it's almost any content created by AI without care or oversight. Right, that's just saying to AI, write a book on Hetzapetza. Okay, the hollow orange. Let's add that to our vocabulary. See if you can use that word today. Try to use that word to describe something you have seen. Cool. Good stuff. Let's see. What was the other thing? Be romantic. Seth, let's see. Daily Stoic. Ryan Holiday. That was a good one about integrity. Standing up for what you believe is right. Jordan Peterson, how to avoid victimness, rejecting victimness. Very simple. You say the words, I will do good. I will do good. I will do good. That's how you end up not being a victim. I will do good. All right. Okay. Next. What is next? Yesterday we did a interview of candidate attorney Jason Ernest. And it was a good interview. It was a lot of fun. He's running for judge. And this was not a political interview. It was just a guy talking to an attorney about justice in the West, what it's like out here. And good interview. Smart guy, knows how to talk, is able to lead a conversation. Obviously, that's what he does. Great storyteller. All of those things would make a good judge. I think he would do well as a judge. Right. And we are hoping the best for him. And then I met the candidate, the Democrat candidate, running for Assembly Seat 36. Smart guy, high IQ, vision. And but he has no experience. Not sure why he's running. Don't know what he's putting into it. And we'll see. So educated, well-educated guy, nice guy, has opinions. That's good. Sure, he has vision. And he jumped in. Got to give somebody a lot of credit for doing that. Just jumping in. Next is okay. So let's talk about where we are this week. This is week 4. This is the final week, and then we start over next week. So we've been building to this week, answering the questions, who am I and why do I behave the way I do, from a nuts and bolts perspective. How does my brain work? Not how should I work, not how should I think, but how do I think? How do external stimulus or internal stimulus, ideas, thoughts, how do those things affect me? And then how, once I know that, how can I use it to, in effect, dial in who I need to be right now? Okay, so all for the idea that this life is a journey, it's an adventure, it is not the end. We have a soul that transcends death, and it continues on the direction we started. Now, biblically, scripturally, in the Gospels, it's kind of like there will be a judgment day. And if you demonstrated loving God with all your heart and mind and soul and strength, loving your neighbors as Jesus loved us, including being willing to give up your life for them, and making disciples of all people and baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. If you do those things, you will be able to become one with the Father, i.e. non-baryonic existence. Okay? If you don't do that, it said to the lake of fire. On Judgment Day, you're going to be judged based upon what you did, and it's either come with us or lake of fire. What do you want? To be one with the Father and Son, as Jesus said, or lake of fire? Okay, so this now is week 4, where we're putting it all together. So we learned how the brain worked. We learned that we need to get other people to help us on our journey, to effectuate our journey. And this week, we now have to, the thing has started, and there are going to be challenges and problems, ups and downs, highs and lows, ins and outs, boredom, ennui, exhilaration, fear. All of the things are going to happen on our journey, And it's how we respond to them, how we prepare and how we respond. And you always respond to the level of your training. You don't rise to the occasion, you sink to the level of your training. So the better prepared you are, the better the result will be. Good. And we started this week, so we learned it's on a spectrum. Getting other people to do what you want is on a spectrum. Some days are really bad, some are good. Monday, we learned about crisis leadership from Nancy Kane, Harvard Business School professor. And yesterday, we went the opposite direction. Pure leadership, what the emperor of the world, what he could do, somebody with the power of lightning, what he could do. How do you do it? And on the one hand, we got 10 or 11 breadcrumbs from Nancy Kane on how to behave, how to continue walking across the shaky floorboards. And then yesterday we learned from Marcus Aurelius Stoicism. First premise, understand there are things I can control and things I cannot control. I don't let the things I can't control bother me because I can't control them. And moral virtue is enough. So today now we're in the middle part. So we have the two extremes. Now we're in the middle, what we call practical leadership. Practical leadership. It's dealing with the highs and lows. Getting that most days are not crisis or pure, they're in between. And how do you use that information to help go forward? And the person we're using as an example of that is Ignatius of Loyola. We mainly use it because he had experiences with corrections, with cops, courts, and corrections, the 3 C's. So we could relate to him. He started out in a good family, got to his head, his ego, believed he was somebody really important and above the law in many respects. And then reality came crashing down in the form of a cannonball in the leg. It shattered his leg, took away his career, but it took a while to figure this out, of lonely recovery from that wound, and then recovery from recovery of the wound, and then mental decline to the point of living in a cave and scourging himself at night for the sins he had done, praying for God to give him illumination, which he did receive. And then he clawed his way out, getting in trouble with the authorities once again, who made him a deal he couldn't refuse, which is the Inquisition or get training for what you want, go back to school with kids, learn Latin, go to college, do this, do that. And he continued to claw his way through it. And then he implemented what we learned last week. Join a tribe, tell a compelling story, connect the true believers, and ignore the non-true believers and lead them. And the Society of Jesus was created from that, which is now the largest territorial education program system in the world, with I think over 2,000 schools all across the world, from I guess elementary all the way through graduate university. So we're going to spend the next couple of days learning a little bit more about the man and about their beliefs. Yeah. And the fundamental thing is, we're going to look at what he did, and then we're going to say, if he could do all that, we can do something. If he can do all that, we can do something. And we could take other examples, Mary Baker Eddy, Ellen White, Joseph Smith, and they did similar things, but not to the same degree. and